This is a part 8B because I'm going to make an addendum or an absolvance or a counter argument or some form of these things to level a field of conflict, because the ultimate goal is to reach zero conflict, right? A way to tell the truth without causing war. So my frustration at the acts of humans really holds no stratagem, does it? Or does it? My books have come in, so I'm going to pretend to use big words that I haven't studied for yet, so bear with the process. I was very angry in my last video because I feel like I'm facing ridiculousness, and it's ongoing, of course. There's nobody. Rome wasn't destroyed in a day, so I'm seeking my angle. You see, the thing is, I just don't know how to deal with average, everyday, normal humans, people. And each of the people that I love are having big feelings, and everybody feels justified or everybody feels stifled. It's one or the other. Justified or stifled. The things that he gets to say over everything is basic and rudimentary. They don't behave in terms of self-care, life planning, getting things done in a certain fashion, timely fashion, respectable things. They do not obey. They do not follow along that time scale. They are different. And the more he pushes about how he's so personally involved with, if you don't do it when I say, or what I say, because it's so basic and obvious and I can do it, then you don't love me. Or if he understands concepts that would make things healthier, like leaving, like having no say in their self-care routines. He's not the daddy. So the basis of his injury is his capability to accomplish all these deeds. It's easier when you're in the front of the group. I learned this in the army. When you're leading the exercise, you have more endurance. No, you just do. You're setting the pace and you're setting the endurance, and you've got the extra adrenaline of performance before a crowd, of responsibility. So yes, you can run longer. You can do more push-ups. You can intensify their workout. Maybe that's why they change up drill sergeants. You know, people who do the leading. But the point is, when the group has to do what you need them to do, you have more endurance than them who are doing it, who don't know the next move, who are also distracted by not wanting to be there, being tired, all these things that they have on their minds. And you get mad at them for having things on their minds and not focusing on the PT. Then you demoralize them in various ways. You tell them that you want to leave because you need to get on with your life and explore while you're still alive, and you're very, 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 very true. Do it. But then at the same time, you use your leaving as the ultimate rejection, which nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to ultimately reject you because we don't make our beds and shower when you decide. Or that we ridiculously won't do it. Yes, maybe we are being spiteful, but we're also leave me to my autonomy. You know? Don't tell me or I won't do it, because I'm tired of you talking about telling me as much as you're tired about talking about it. Can't you understand that the easiest solution to this is for you to shh? Let them have space, mental space, not the constant looming feelings and thoughts of your disapproval. I mean, I know it must sound like an excuse, but she says, I have every intention of doing the thing, and you do it first, and then you resent doing it. You know, clearest path is to not do things you resent, and you hold it over their heads. I took care of everything while you weren't there. I did. I took care of everything, and I went over to your house and took care of everything too. See, you always tell this grand martyr story that we just can't climb out from under because it's all so reasonably right. Well, what do you expect us to feel, I'd like to ask? What is the response you're looking for? I'll tell you what it is. It's this narrow. You just want us to automatically start having good habits like you do. It's so obvious. Why can't they do it? This thinking is the root of suffering in the entire universe. And I get very angry because humans are toxic. Maybe the only reason why you're so capable is because you have an abuse object to show off for. Because that's also quite common, like the guy with the PT. Your excellence is proof of their failures. Some twisted kind of thinking. So maybe you're not a narcissist like I thought, but you certainly have such a co to whatever the hell it is that you're claiming. Because your claiming conveniently absolves you of all inappropriateness, right? Of course it does. I don't accept that for myself. I believe in redemption. Or, earned redemption. You kind of march through your redemption very carefully, I must add. But that's the other problem. I'm a human that decided to leave the conventional world pettiness, or at least root out in myself when it comes up. The greed or entitlement or a desire for control over the outcome or the behavior of others. It's a losing path. It just is a losing path. But not everybody does that. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can experience a thing and pass through it and then go, okay. And maybe I can't either. No. Oh, let's see if something terrible happens to me, how I'll deal. Okay, well, When you're right, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. You know? We all have our own battles. Mine, just severely mental. You know? Just a lot of severely self-hatred. Desperation. Spiritual desperation to get right and find the truth and act, be right and do right. If I was just the right kind of child, then my mom would be okay. Because my mom, she's just so wounded and everything's my fault. Yeah. So it's like dad figure and granddaddy figure who just can't give up being daddy and feels personally offended if they don't take a bath until 9 when he asks them to take a bath at 7. So he stews in his expectation anger. This contributes to all the personality issues that he's getting help for. He's long since stopped doing the radical acceptance thing. I guess radical acceptance is easier to do when they're not living in the house. That's awesome. That's very awesome and true. But now we have everybody living in the house with what you have written into their code of who they are. And they fall into a depressive routine. Hell, even I've experienced something soul-sucking yesterday. I put on my favorite STEM song, my favorite STEM hype. Ooh, I'm sorry. I just thought of it. Anyway, it's my favorite hype. And I played it. And I literally couldn't get about it. Not at all. Like, I was like, what the fuck? I can't even do my hype? There's something draining in this place. He says he wants to leave and let them be independent. If only he can make sure that they can. It's a self-fulfilling failure prophecy, just like they all are. Just like my father, whose every advice was always my failure. Anyway, what I'm saying is, gee, the old figure dude is trying to make it out like it's gonna be their fault for not washing the dishes when he blows up over the accumulated anger of their irresponsibility. Damn it. So he gets to use this to beat us with. Not beat us physically, but if it were, we might have ended it sooner, yeah? But we're afraid. Why? Why are we afraid? Why won't we ever stand up to this man? Well, he's such a good guy. Look how he comes through. Look what he does. Oh, look at all the sacrifices he's made to set them up properly. That entitles him to own with his utter competence. I mean, doesn't it sound ridiculous? But egos are. That's why these things only escalate. And no one's going to call halt. You say you want out, but then you use leaving as a threat. You have not. My problem, I am also unrealistic. I expect humans to want to do better, and they don't. They just don't. Most of them aren't even awake enough to examine their behavior. They can't do it. Why? Because instead of training the minds that break, fracture, well, it does make you sick, and then you can never train. I don't care, you don't have a degree, where's your degree? Meh. Anyway, fund me for the research and we'll find out, but you can't fund me because then I'll lose disability. So if you fund me, you've got to take care of my medical needs, and you know what, if you fund me for psychological research, I might have the will to live. Then I'll get a kidney transplant off of one of you kind folks. Anyway, let me tell you about me, future readers, watchers. As you can see, I'm stupid, not interesting, not what you want. That won't be. I represent the human thoughts that aren't allowed to be recorded or seen. The things you really think. Well, that's who you are. But you're always stifled. This world never... You gotta learn things like verbal tact. You gotta learn things like Machiavellian observation of the motives of those around you. I mean, come on, that's this world. And it just naturally sucks when the worst kind of situation is the very one you're forced to live in because you fear being financially stranded. Ladies, even us schizoaffectives have this fear, don't we? The most. For those of us who feel that we have to be responsible for the emotional states of everybody that we're caring for. You see, for all of his mislabeled label, deflective label, it's no... I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not going to speak if I'm wrong. I mean, objectively or whatnot. If I speak for something I don't understand, which I don't, so I don't speak about it. Anyway, my impossible standards might also be triggering. Like I said, or maybe I said it before when I was fantasizing this conversation. It's impossible for the afflicted mind. It's impossible. I won't. Try to empathize. I'm tired of defending the empathy of my own empathy. You know, like my own empathy excuses too much on both sides. I'm pretty sure my son is abusive because he can't control his rage, his explosive rage, and he wants to. That's a saving grace. But if he wants to do the real work to make sure he can be stable and calm in the face of disappointment, has to understand the very root of why he feels that way. Oh, that's a trigger. I'm preaching. No, pecking. I'm not pecking. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm pointing to find out why. What's the root? Where does it begin? Does it appall you when you find it to be petty and small and ridiculous against scrutiny? And how do you let go of that? All I've ever been able to find out is just the practice of noticing the thing and not attaching any more to it. When you remember the thing, passes until it weakens. I mean, the only thing that's going to cure this family is active work, which is impossible in their state of mind. See, I never asked for this. I suck at Zen teaching. Where you give me imperfect situation with people who stated on the human level. Why do you give me these sentient beings? I'm telling you, I'm lost and I don't know what to do. Anyway, changed my accent on that. Sitting scenes and mistresses at a loss. Why? What thing? That I should struggle to change another which I preach against? I am becoming ridiculous because I am attached to the grandchild. Oh, see, that reminds me of this karma I should like to avoid in reality. So Dad's getting frustrated. Don't really know why. The time passing in his mind feels longer than the time in occupation, or time and environment of the rest of the family. So he holds it, and longer it is. He says, I'm going to blow up because I don't have an outlet. You mean you tried so hard for 2 years, and what we have is a very, very, very confident and happy nearly 3-year-old. Well, I can't tell you how gorgeous and beautiful, confident and loving and energetic she is. Please let us avoid. Please let us avoid any long-term deep damage to this child who is now entering her first formative years, who will learn the concepts of social interaction now. Please. Why should there be such an irrational thing to happen? Why are we not in control of ourselves? Why do we not pay attention? Why do we not care? We only care for what we think is right. If I wasn't angry, it just reduces me to a state of mourning. Set of lessons to work on for myself, because I'm not here to fix anyone. Obviously, I failed at doing that. do is make their sentient experience nicer, better for their love and happy and joy and wise. It's the only thing I want. I want peace. If only somebody could realize the great time swaths of just peace there is in this world. Not everything is the job or the commute or the bills or the doings or the lists. There's actually time between the doings that you just miss. Because you're getting rest from all the doings, right? We used to say things like, what's wrong when you work your job for 8 hours? So what? Be there, do your job. Your life doesn't stop. It's not life out of work and not life in work, because it is also your life. Be conscious. Tried that in school too. I was always very living. I don't remember any of it, but I know. And I know because I've recovered such feelings here in adulthood since I got disabled, and just find some great joy in sitting out. The birds and the crickets, they're always there. It's weird. Well, not winter maybe. Anyway, I'm rambling on because I don't know where to draw the line. How much empathy and sympathy can account for anything? For his demands. They kind of feel ridiculous, even though they kind of feel like universally expected. You know? It's universally expected of people to be responsible with the self-care and the home management things. And yet there's a great deal of people who cannot. And no amount of negative holding your temper, preaching, nagging, eventually blowing up, trying to ignore it, threatening everything, all the abuse tactics, they're not working either. So like a dumb human, you have to escalate the tactic. Escalate. Why? The nature of your high blood pressure killing you is just going to motivate us to do it. You wonder why I feel depressed? Because you take away every part of our self-identity. But you expect that. It continues to frustrate you, but it compounds. And you think it's only 1 month. You think it's only 1 year. She's going on 31, if not 32. He's going on 26. Oh, he's going on 27 soon, but hey, what does this mean? Their entire damned existence of programming and the strengthening of resistance that have turned into shells in their psychology. Oh, I'm sure you can understand the principle. But baby, the work to fix it is not yours. The work to fix all those frustrations you see in them is their work. And the only defense or objection that you can have is, well, if I can't stand it, then I'll leave. Yes. That's it. Can't you understand it? I can't accept that because I feel so responsible for all the failures and they gotta fix it. They gotta da-da-da, and I'm sad not having everything. That's also not mine to fix. And I guarantee you that fixing their bathing and dishwashing and mopping and life, financial business is not going to satisfy you. It's not. It's not going to satisfy you. amount of control is only yummy in the gathering and seeking of it, in the ambition and drive and self-pride. I can do it, I'm successful, they should be able to do it, I can look down on them. Power. Because when they attain that state, most of the time, a narcissist, do gotta use them, or learns better ways to use them. You're gonna slip away and feel useless, and it's gonna come back on you, all these feelings that you've created. Why can't you so hard? Why is life so hard? Why is life so hard? Each one of us are powerless to change ourselves too. We can't change ourselves. The process is so excruciatingly, because our egos really hold on very strong to we're right. Nobody's right. There's only what is. And I look and feel like an absolute lunatic saying so, because of how difficult it is, how hard, how very attached. It's very difficult, and it's very hard. It's very, it still is. It always is. Life is hard. I had to ask myself, all this anger I see in the ex that I feel is bad for him, I've been working with the same thing toward myself as well. I just understand that what he brought up is something I should still be working on, because I still hold a lot of that judgment and resentment. It's the hardest to let go of, because it just means the acceptance of a great many things. But without accepting the great many things that we count as failure, well, there can't be any real love. There can't be any real acceptance. It would always be tainted by your image of what it should be, what it should look like, and what the payoff is for all of the things you use to justify your behavior. Being a human sometimes really sucks. Well, very same it is. Exactly what you make it. It's exactly what you make it. It's exactly what you focus on in your internal self. The only thing people don't understand that's so difficult is that you can learn to overcome that. You can learn to examine and look into and realize that you are the observer. Ancient teachings of all time, simple, tip of a dot, simple. But we're not ready for it. I have to learn to keep quiet, obviously. In the reality of ignorance, I cannot think I'm looking at sentient beings, Buddhas. I just can't, but I am, you see, but I am. What is a Buddha? He arrives on you to clear your view when you're too crazy. Lifeless for those who have tradition for what life is. You know? It's not the face of a person. They have their own understanding. I just wish. Just wish there was a way to work with stubbornness. My desires are just as unrealistic. And I don't have as much sympathy for his sense of martyrdom as his self-identity. I'm not sure. There's so much opposites feelings. I see he has pain for his sake. I have pain for my sake. I don't think his pain justifies the pain that I've got from him. And I don't think him knowing he's got pain absolves him of the weight of the damage of some of the things that have occurred. But I do love him. I do. Because perhaps I can't put two on top of the other, and I have this always hope that he could understand it and truly, deeply heal. I hope I can. I hope the kids can. And I just don't know what to say anymore. It's personal psychological injury over people not obeying and doing the laundry. I don't know. It's failed expectations and not acceptance of the drastic thing they're different. Or even knowing, caring to know what their different opinion is. They've been here for a couple weeks now, and I can't even tell you what. Well, I can tell you more about my son's opinions and ideas on things, but my daughter just stays clammed up because she says last night everything that wanna say will just cause conflict, and she's right. Every time she says anything to excuse herself or to reason for herself, causes him to do everything stupid again. Nobody can be right, and nobody can be compromised. It's I know, but. Regardless. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway. But it's just ridiculous that we act out against. Oh, did I tell you that I was afraid of a trauma happening? I don't want her spirit broken due to his narcissistic rage over dishes. Great! Now you've traumatized another generation who won't wash dishes because of your tragedy. Oops. I'm sorry. It's not that serious, bro. Is it? No, apparently it's not. It's just not that serious. Who would want to be a monk anyway? Grandma, speaking to you from the afterlife, where's the only time that she'll ever be taken critically and seriously. Love you, Liliana. future grandchildren and subscribers who decide to love me back.